hearing to order. I would like to recognize and appreciate that we are holding this hearing within the traditional territories of the Tishat and Hepetchizit First Nations, and that we honor and respect that. My name is John McNabb. I'm the director for Beaver Creek electoral area, and I'd like to introduce you to the ACRD planning staff that's here. Alex Dyer is a planning manager, and Kathy MacArthur is a planning assistant. This hearing is being held electronically using Zoom. It is being recorded and live streamed on our website. Would staff please provide direction and instruction on how to participate in this hearing?
Great, thank you, John. And thank you everybody for joining us, Brian and Larry Hodgson as well. We see you there. So if you're watching the live stream on the website right now and wish to join the meeting, the details on how to connect can be found in the Zoom meeting invite document that's linked on the public hearing webpage. We want to just quickly start off by highlighting some of the Zoom features that'll help you participate and talk about our process a little bit to help us run smoothly. So if you're participating online, you have the option to turn on or off your video or mute or unmute your audio so other meeting participants can see you and hear you. These controls are in the bottom left of your screen on a computer or the top right on a tablet or a smartphone. We just ask that you keep your audio muted at all times unless you're going to speak. This just helps reduce the background noise and helps things move along smoothly. As I mentioned, there will be an opportunity to speak after staff introduce the application and the applicants provide comments on their proposal. When the chair calls upon members of the public to comment on the bylaw, we ask that you either put your hand up or call out that you would like to speak. Once you've been recognized by the chair, we'll ask that you state your name and your address, followed by the questions you might have. And finally, I also want to highlight that there is a chat feature that's accessed on the controls on your screen. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question at any time, all comments will be addressed by staff during the public hearing. So feel free to add anything in there if you're thinking of it as we move along. There will also be a final opportunity prior to the end of the hearing for anyone to ask final questions or make any final comments on the rezoning bylaw. And then again, just to reiterate that this public hearing is being live streamed on the ACRD website and a recording of the meeting is publicly available. Thanks, John.
The subject of this hearing is bylaw P1464. This bylaw is applicable to 6535 Pledstead Road and is necessary to facilitate a subdivision proposal. If you have any questions or comments about other unrelated topics, I ask you to contact the regional district staff after this hearing is terminated. Would staff now read out the notice of public hearing?
Okay, thank you. A public hearing for residents and property owners within electoral area E, Beaver Creek, will be held to consider bylaw P1464. This bylaw is a zoning atlas amendment to rezone Lot 3, District Lots 40 and 162 of Alberta District Plan 20492 from Small Holdings A1 District to Acreage Residential RA3 District to facilitate a subdivision proposal. The public hearing will be held by the director for electoral area E, the alternate director, or the chairperson of the regional district. The board resolution making this delegation along with bylaw P1464 and relevant background documents is available for review online at www.acrd.bc.ca/events/4-10-2022. Planning staff are available to answer questions in person, through email, or by phone during normal office hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, from September 1st, 2022 to October 4th, 2022, excluding statutory holidays. Now, providing an opportunity for public input is a top priority for the ACRD. Please consider written submissions as an effective means to do so. Anyone who feels their interest in property will be affected by the proposed bylaw will be afforded a reasonable opportunity to be heard. Options include participating in the public hearing by electronic means using Zoom video conferencing or teleconferencing, and or submitting correspondence to the ACRD. If you wish to participate in the public hearing electronically or by phone, full instructions to do so are available on our website at www.acrd.bc.ca/events/4-10-2022, or it can be provided by contacting planning staff by email at planning@acrd.bc.ca or by phone at 250-720-2700. This public hearing will be recorded and live streamed on our website. Written correspondence can be submitted by one of the following methods: a hard copy delivered to the ACRD office in person in the drop slot, or by mail to the planning department at the address below. An email sent to planning@acrd.bc.ca before 4 p.m. October 4th, 2022. Email correspondence will only be considered received if receipt confirmation is provided by ACRD staff, or at fax sent to 250-723-1327 before 4 p.m. October 4th, 2022. Again, fax correspondence will only be considered received if receipt confirmation is provided by ACRD staff. Now, all correspondence must be received by the ACRD no earlier than 8 a.m. on September 21st, 2022, and no later than 4 p.m. on October 4th, 2022. Correspondence submitted and or received outside of these parameters will not be included in the public hearing. Thanks, John.
The purpose of this hearing is to receive input, written and verbal, from any person who believes that their interest in property is affected by the bylaw. The Regional District Board will receive full minutes of this hearing before voting on the bylaw. Staff is taking minutes that summarize the issue raised. Please speak clearly to ensure accuracy. Would staff please introduce the proposal?
Okay, thank you. The agency referral responses that were received for this application, there's 4 of them. They all noted that their interests were unaffected or recommended approval of the bylaws subject to conditions outlined in the responses. A copy of the agency referral responses is available for public review on the ACRD website, and they will form part of the public hearing report that will be considered by the board. There were no letters of correspondence received from the public ahead of the public hearing. And then to highlight the proposal itself, the property owner is applying to rezone the plus or minus 0.54 hectare or 1.34 acre property from small holdings A1 district to acreage residential RA3 district, as I mentioned, in order to facilitate subdivision to a 0.6 acre minimum lot size. The applicant intends to subdivide the property equally in half into 2 parcels, both being approximately 0.67 acres in lot area, and both fronting on Plested Road. The lot, which will be on the northeast half, which would be on the northeast half, is currently occupied by an accessory structure. And the lot, which would be on the southwest half, contains the existing house and improvements on the lot. As a condition of rezoning approval, the applicants are required to obtain confirmation from a registered on-site wastewater practitioner that the property is capable of accommodating on-site sewage disposal to a minimum 0.6 acre density. It is my understanding in speaking with the applicants that this work is underway and that a letter of confirmation from a wastewater professional will be required prior to the board making a final decision on the bylaw. And if any additional information other than support from a wastewater professional is provided, staff will advise the board on next steps at that point, which could include delegating a second public hearing or amending the bylaw if needed. I also want to highlight topography there, because that was discussed with our advisory planning commission and board. There is a creek ravine that dissects the property, which currently limits the available building envelope, considering the 100-foot creek setbacks we currently have in the zoning bylaw and the 50-foot front yard setback required by the RA3 district. Now, staff have prepared a sample building envelope map that indicates that there does appear to be a suitable building envelope on each of the proposed lots for one single-family dwelling to be located on each of those lots. The map is included within the development proposal information package that is linked on the public hearing event website that I mentioned earlier. The average depth of the building envelope for a dwelling on each lot ranges from 47 feet on the one side to 80 feet on the other side. And I also want to further highlight that the draft updated zoning bylaw that we're currently working through also further proposes to reduce the required building setback from a minor watercourse to 15 meters or 50 feet rather than 30 meters or 100 feet from all watercourses as it currently is. So that would further expand the building envelope if the updated zoning bylaw proceeds as drafted. And then finally, if the rezoning is adopted and this proposal proceeds to the subdivision stage, a development permit would be required at that point to address impacts on the Plested Creek riparian area that dissects the property. And further to that, the requirements for connection to the Beaver Creek water system would also need to be satisfied at the subdivision stage. And I think that's it for me, John. That's my view. Thanks.
Okay, would the applicant like to add anything to that?
I'm just going to ask about the getting a wastewater practitioner in there. Shouldn't I have my property rezoned? Like, shouldn't I know that my property is going to be rezoned before I go and spend the money on a wastewater practitioner? Because I'm in a catch-22 in a way. Like, I go and pay someone and they say you can't do it, then I'm just a little confused on that section.
So the practice of the regional district has been to require those at the rezoning stage to confirm that that the lot has the capability on site to accommodate that proposed use, with the idea being that we wouldn't want to rezone a property to imply that a use could happen that we know is not capable based on the on-site sewage disposal capability. So that's what that does. It gives the board a level of comfort that if this does proceed to subdivision stage, that you can accommodate on-site sewage at the points of taking minimum density, and if you can't, then we need to either adjust the bylaw or find an alternative way to service that to meet your proposal. We'll
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I would say that in this particular situation, that confirmation of capability for the wastewater would be high on the priorities of the board, that they would want to make sure that that capability was there, and that the wastewater practitioner had recognized that the proximity of the creek on that site.
Okay. I'm currently just waiting to hear back from, I've phoned a lot of people and they have been very busy, but I will eventually get someone out there to do it.
Okay, thanks for the update, Brian.
Yeah.
Did you have any other comments you want to make on the proposal?
Not currently, no.
Thank you. We'll now hear from members of the public. Please wait until you have been recognized by me and state your name and address before beginning. We will hear everyone wishing to speak for the first time before allowing any second comments. So are there any comments from the public? Do we get anybody else on?
Yeah, we have
Like other Mr. Hodgson?
nope, we just have the one. Okay. So Larry, if you'd like to add any comments, either. Oh, I see you unmuted yourself there. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the offer and everything. I'm just curious. I live in the district, and I'm just curious. That's all. Interesting. No comments, no questions. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, as a director and as a member of the public, I'm concerned about how the wastewater practitioner would be at kind of looking at the ability of this property to facilitate the two septic systems. And I'm wondering if they can consider the topography as well as the distancing in their evaluation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a great point, and they will for sure. So they have minimum requirements, minimum setbacks from the edges of breakout points, and the ravine is breakout point for that. So one of the flexibilities they do have in placing a septic field is that they can place it in the front yard setbacks of a property. So whereas as the zone that we're rezoning to has a 15-meter front yard setback, the requirements to place a septic tank, septic field are much less restricted than that. So the house could be built at 15 meters and the field could be placed in front of that as an option. And that's likely the area that they'd be looking at away from the ravine, I would imagine. So we'll wait for that assessment, but that will be something that we will flag as staff, that we'll make sure that they are sensitive of the topography of the site and that they're aware that that is a concern that needs to be addressed, for sure.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's been answered. I'd like to advise everybody that's in this meeting that the board of directors, all of the board of directors, cannot receive any new information related to this bylaw between the end of this hearing and making a decision on the bylaw, which extends to the next board meeting, October the 13th, or to the fourth reading, which was be sometime after that. So if any board member does so, the hearing would be invalidated and would have to be held again. So what that means is don't phone, email, talk at the store, or anything with regards to this public hearing and the information presented to any of the board members. You can speak to staff at any point in that time period and voice your concerns or add information, but it can't be to a board member. The board will take all of the information that is presented and is recorded, and the board will receive all of that. So with that in mind, does anybody have any final comments? Mr. O'Shaney?
When's my timeline on getting a registered on-site water practitioner?
So we anticipate that the public hearing minutes report would be referred to the board for their approval on October 13th, so that they would receive the minutes from this hearing and the full public hearing report. And at that meeting, they would consider the bylaw for second and third readings, and then we would wait until you get the assessment report before we bring forward to fourth reading and adoption. So that's really dependent on the timing of the professional.
Okay. Yeah, I've called a lot of people and so many people are busy. The construction industry is very busy. And
Yeah, it's the nature of it right now, for sure.
yeah.
Appreciate the work on that, though. Thank you, Brian.
Okay. No problem, Alex.
So I will call for a first time for any other representations on the bylaw. I will call for a second time for any further representations on the bylaw. And I will call for a third time for any further representations on the bylaw. Hearing no further comments, I declare this meeting terminated. Thank you very much.